Hello, hello, hello. My name is Patricia with Abigail's Apothecary, better known as Herbal Root Woman. And today I am going to do a quick video on making fire cider. And for some of you who may not be familiar with fire cider is I call it a root and food elixir that helps with assisting with the immune system. If somebody has a cold or the flu, they can take this and it helps to get rid of it within a short period of time. And so the ingredients with this fire cider is, or I call it fire water. I already cut up some horseradish root, and I have some ginger root that's already sliced, and some turmeric root. I also have a bunch of garlic already peeled and sliced. And the trick to cutting garlic without having that garlicky smell on your hands, put on some gloves. Even when you're doing onions, put on some gloves. You don't have to worry about that smell. I also have some cut up, diced onions. And then I have the apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar is what you're going to soak your ingredients in. And today I am using a 64-ounce mason jar. And so I'm going to get started. So, I started doing this a few years ago as far as making the fire cider because, flu season and what I'm doing right now, I'm just adding some of the horseradish root. And some folks, they'll do a cup of horseradish root, a cup of ginger, a cup of turmeric, a cup of the garlic, and a cup of the onions. But I want to make this very strong. So I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to add an extra everything. But anyway, what I was saying was that flu season comes around, or you have a cold, or you're not feeling well, and you want to go the natural route, this fire cider is the way to go. It will knock out anything that you have going on. And this is, as you can see, this may be a little bit more than a cup, maybe a cup and a half. So I'm just going to keep adding, because for you all that may be familiar with horseradish root, it will, oh my goodness, talk about fire, okay? Normally to this recipe, folks will add spicy peppers, like what is that? Some people add ghost peppers. Some people add jalapenos, but because I couldn't find any fresh peppers, later on, once everything has steeped, I'm going to add some cayenne pepper that is 75,000 heat units, which is really, really hot. And so your cayenne pepper helps with getting circulation going. It helps with if you have sinus issues in you, or if your nose is stopped up, cayenne pepper will have that running and get that out of there. So that's another good ingredient. But all of these ingredients, like the horseradish root, it has heat, it's strong, and it helps with the immune system and helping to shorten the amount of time for cold or flu, or if you're just feeling a little under the weather. Ginger is a herb or a root. It's a root that's good for when my sons were smaller. I used it to help lower their fever, because sometimes kids, when they're little, they'll have like issues with a fever, especially if they're if they're in school and they're around other kids, and you know how kids are, they're like walking petri dishes. I mean, you can get sick. But I used to make a ginger tea for them, and it lowered their fever. It's also good for colds. And I'm going to measure the garlic. I have a cup. This is a cup here. I'm going to measure the garlic. I like to put enough garlic in this because garlic is considered to be antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial. So you notice I said antiviral. Flu is a virus. Okay, so this is one of the things that really helps also in this mixture to help alleviate some of those symptoms, and it shortens your recovery time. One thing that I've noticed that one of the very few times that I've caught the flu, just taking, at the first sign of it, just taking 3 tablespoons a day of this fire water helped to, instead of having to deal with it for a week, see how I'm filling that up? I'm layering it. See that? Instead of having to deal with that flu, instead of me having to deal with that flu for a week, it was gone in 3 to 4 days. Gone. If I caught it just in time before everything really started, I would say maybe by the second day, I'm up, I'm fine, everything's good. So, yeah, this stuff really, it can really help. Now I'm going to add the onions. These are your basic yellow onions, okay? Onions are also good for colds and viruses. When you have folks that make chicken noodle soup from scratch, one of the things that they add is, well, they add onions and they add garlic. So chicken noodle soup is something that not only helps to make you feel comfy because you're drinking something nice and hot, but there are some natural healing powers within chicken noodle soup. So this is my jar. So you see at the bottom, and you can put it in any order, it doesn't matter. I have my horseradish root, I have my ginger, I have my turmeric, I have my garlic, and I have my onions. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to see if I can lower this camera some. I'm going to add the, got my fingers in front of there. I'm going to add the apple cider vinegar. So I don't know, you probably still can't see it that well. I'm going to see if I can lower this some more. Okay. I think that's as far as it's going to go. So I'm going to hold this up some while I try to add this in there. So this is Bragg's apple cider vinegar with the mother. This is the brand, I'm biased. This is the brand that I really like, that I use. It still has the mother. I use this apple cider vinegar for just about everything. If you want to soak your feet in it, if you got issues with foot fungus, or if you want to use something that's and I'm just shaking it up just a little bit so that all of it can go through, so that it can go through and hit some of the herbs at the bottom. You see that? So I'm going to move this camera back up. Hopefully I won't knock it down as I bring it back up. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm just going to pour a little bit more of, and this is a 32-ounce bottle. So I'm going to pour a little bit more because I want it to cover, I want it to cover the ingredients. So I'm just going to shake this up to get some of that mother moving around. See some of that there? So I just want it to move around some, okay? And I recommend for people who have never had this concoction before, I recommend that, well, I recommend this, taking it this way, period. I recommend that for a short period, if you're going to be taking it for a short period of time, you can do 3 tablespoons, just it straight by itself, But make sure you drink plenty of water, you know, throughout the day, because you don't want the apple cider vinegar to just settle in the mouth. So you drink, you know, plenty of water throughout the day. But you can also make it into I call it an herbal tea. You can take that 1 tablespoon and you can put it into 4 to 6 ounces of hot water, and you can add a little bit of honey to it, and you can drink it as a tea. And you can drink it 3 times a day. And the reason why I recommend only 4 to 6 ounces of water, you don't want to put it into anything larger than that, because it will be diluting the potency of the fire water. And the reason why I'm calling it fire water and not fire cider is because I think, if I'm not mistaken, somebody trademarked that name, so I don't want to get in trouble. So this is fire water. So this is it filled up. See how that looks? And because I don't have, let me get my lid. And because I don't have a plastic lid to do this with, I'm going to use some wax paper, because of the metal that's inside, because you're going to be shaking this up once a day. At least once a day, shaking it up, making sure everything is mixing properly. And because this is metal, you don't want it to rust. You don't want that getting into your fire cider. So what I do is, this is what I do. I just put the wax paper over, and then I'm going to screw this on. I'm going to show you what it looks like once it's screwed on. So now you have some people, they'll use the wax paper. You have some folks that'll use, what do you call it? Saran wrap. Okay. So this is screwed on there tightly. And so daily, all you're going to do is give it a little shake. Or you can do this just to get everything moving around and shaking. You can put this in your cabinet, or you can put this in your just on your countertop, and once a day, just shake it, and that's it. So thank you for checking out my video for fire water. You can let it sit for about a month. Normally, I let mine sit for a few months. One that I used earlier this year that I finished using, it had been sitting for like almost a year. So it was ready. So yep, that's it. Thank you for stopping by. And once again, my name is Patricia with Abigail's Apothecary, also known as the Herbal Root Woman. You can check out my website at abigailsapothecary.com. You can follow me at Instagram at abigailsapothecary.com. And you can also follow me on Facebook at abigailsapothecary.com. All right, you all have a nice rest of the day. Bye.